Welcome. This is an unscheduled urgent announcement that the South African Police Service's whistleblower, Patricia Mashale, has asked me to upload on my YouTube channel in the hope that the top brass of the South African Police Services catch a wake up and stop persecuting her. As you see, my background is the front page of the City Press last Sunday, and explains why we as citizens of South Africa have to hold the SAPS top management's feet to the fire. It reports, an affidavit submitted to the Zondo Commission but never discussed contains allegation of huge corruption involving a police slush fund. Reported by Patricia Mashale. Well, when I read that on Sunday, I contacted Patricia and asked her if she knew Brigadier Tinyani Rungwani, because I thought this sounded like a sort of guy I needed to get to know, because I've met a couple of other extraordinarily good cops who have really wanted to be supportive. He's a chartered accountant, and it was his affidavit submitted about corruption in the Crime Intelligence Services that was submitted to the Zondo Commission but never managed to get any airspace. Well, Patricia, tell us the backstory to this, because you had a bit of a hand in this, didn't you? And tell us what's now happening.
Yes, John. I don't really know Brigadier Rungwani. I got a hand of the affidavit. I also have it in my possession, but I got it through another source. So I decided that since this is already a public document that was already submitted to the Zondo Commission, and if you can read there in the article, SAPS also admitted that they do have the affidavit already. So this is a public document for public scrutiny. So I decided that since the Zondo Commission is already aware of it and it's part of everything that I've been reported all along, that I'm also going to expose this document. So I was not the one who exposed it in the media, in the City Press, by the way. I think he's one of the other people who also got a hold of the document or the source who sent the document to me, which I will not reveal. So yes, I'm aware of this document. Everything that was revealed in the City Press is true. It's in this affidavit. According to this affidavit, there is annexes of which we are now doing application to the Zondo Commission for access of information for those annexes in the original affidavit that was submitted to the Zondo Commission. We want to know, why was this damning affidavit never scrutinized or never handled in the Zondo Commission? Why was this brigadier never called as a witness? So now I want this investigation, this affidavit to be reintroduced. I want the investigation to proceed. As I say, there was already indictments to arrest. The process must be completed because all those people implicated in the affidavit, including the two Eugene Put-Out and Brigadier Moyani, who are now currently looking for me, they are heavily implicated in that affidavit.
Okay, now just explain that, because firstly, just to put to bed the concern about the Zondo Commission, I think that probably in some ways it's been advantageous, because there was so much in the Zondo Commission that we might have lost the devils that are in that detail. So now you've got an opportunity, and I think that you and others have been saying, like Mary de Haas, there needs to be another special commission of inquiry focused on the criminal justice system generally, because unless we get that functioning, well, you can, say goodbye to South Africa, because if you don't have the rule of law upheld by the South African Police, National Prosecuting Authority, we don't have a country. We don't have something that has a sovereign integrity to it. Now, what now has happened to you? Say, read to us the WhatsApp that you sent to our group earlier today.
Okay, here's the WhatsApp. I just received reliable information from a source that Brigadier Moyana and Colonel Eugene Put-Out are in Bloemfontein to arrest me for the crime intelligence affidavit that I exposed in the media. They are from counterintelligence in Gauteng, and both of them are heavily implicated in that affidavit that was submitted to the Zondo Commission, meaning that it's a public document. According to my source, they are traveling with a gray Audi Q7 with GP number plates. if anything happens to me, Brigadier Moyana and Colonel Eugene Petout from counterintelligence should be held accountable.
Yeah. So let's hope that through our network of social media that this will come to their attention and to the attention of people that are their commanders and other people. And I mean, one does get the feeling that this is like the last kick of the dying horse. These people are now feeling encircled, so they're scapegoating you, and that's what happens with whistleblowers. But the tide of history is moving against them. Let's face it, it is. What else would you want the public to take note of, Patricia, that will give you some peace of mind so that you sleep more peacefully tonight?
As you know, John, for the past year, I've been running around. I've been chased around like a common criminal for exposing corruption in the South African Police Service. The National Commissioner, Professor Mary de Haas, have written letters to the National Commissioner on various occasions, to the Portfolio Committee, to like any office that we can think of. But still today, there's no action from those offices. What I want the public to know, because Mary de Haas wrote today, she wrote another open letter to the National Commissioner.
Yes, I'm going to read it now. In fact, let me read it now and then you can say some more there. Okay. This is a public message to the National Commissioner General Masemola, and this is from Mary de Haas, who is a legendary violence monitor who for over 40 years has been closely monitoring the situation in the old apartheid era and then to the transition into today. This is what she says to General Masemola. You will bear personal responsibility if any harm whatsoever befalls whistleblower and human rights defender Patricia Mashale at the hands of or caused by members of the South African Police Services. There seems to be no limit to the way in which the SAPS, whose constitutional mandate includes preventing crime, which he underlines, will resort to terror tactics using taxpayers' money to try and cover up the gross corruption in their ranks. The crime intelligence component, which bears most responsibility for the police's failure to identify criminals and their nefarious activities, despite their being widely known to members of the public, is probably the leading SAPS corruption culprit, as evidenced by findings of the Zondo Commission. Whistleblower and rights defender Patricia Mashale has many supporters in the ranks of the South African Police Services who value the work she and her husband have done over the years in exposing the rot amongst their colleagues. And if I may just say personally, I've met many of them too now, and Mary is absolutely right. There are lots of good cops wanting to do their jobs. She goes on, they would like to do it themselves, but fear for their jobs and their lives and those of their families. They are among those who covertly assist the Mashale family by keeping them abreast of threats. The latest absolutely outrageous threat relates to the current deployment of 2 members of the Gauteng counterintelligence component, names known, who have been sent to the Free State to track Mashale down and arrest her for supposedly leaking an explosive affidavit about corruption made by a senior member of crime intelligence, which allegedly features the names who have now deployed to track Mashale down, to the City Press newspaper, which ran a front-page expose about it on Sunday, 5th of February. Patricia has now revealed those names, so it's in this thing too. So Mary goes on, why are they picking on Mashale, as the document in question is a public one submitted to the Zondo Commission as part of their records? Any number of people could have leaked it to the City Press journalists. Confidential sources are, or should be, protected. But the police have no regard for whether any evidence exists when they arrest people. Malicious arrests are the order of the day, while the real criminals escape to carry on hijacking and killing. It has, though, become apparent that SAPS management and the minister who controls the operations are desperate to stop Mashale's crucial work and find any excuse they can to try and arrest her, an almost certain death sentence. It has also become apparent in cases relating to corruption that they wish to check any devices in the possession of whistleblowers, usually illegally, without a court order, again, to expunge any evidence that might exist of their wrongdoing. And she says with emphasis, our SAPS management and its minister, who are constitutionally responsible for protecting life and bringing criminals to justice, are complicit in defeating the ends of justice and the victimization and threatened deaths of those who follow the law and expose corruption. The public must know, and it is already on record in a letter to General Masemola dated the 5th of December last year, that it is he who bears responsibility in his position as National Commissioner for all the illegal actions perpetrated against Mashale by members of the police and the gross violation of the rights of her young son. However, he seems not to care, for doubtless he is simply doing the bidding of the real power behind the police throne, the minister who pulls the strings. The incredibly courageous stance of Ms. Mashale is also known to international human rights bodies. If I may just remind people, she has last year been awarded a special recognition award by Blueprint for Free Speech, an international human rights entity. They in South Africa must know who to blame if any harm whatsoever befalls her or family members. National Commissioner of Police Masemola. As South Africans wait in eager anticipation of what President Ramaphosa has to say in his State of the Nation address to Parliament today, they must understand that what is happening at Eskom is simply a conspicuous symptom of the most ominous of all the clouds hanging over South Africa, that of systemic corruption and the desperate measures used to silence those who expose it, in which the South African Police Services is currently staffed and controlled, plays the leading role. Mary de Haas, 9th February 2023. Okay, Patricia, take it from there. How does that make you feel? At least you know you're not alone.
You know what, John? It's not even the National Commissioner as well as the Minister are well aware of what is happening, because it's not the first time that Moyana and Pit Out are pulling the stand. Last year, they pulled the same stunt to the effect that they even intercepted my WhatsApp groups with my members. Moyana and Pit Out, there was a counterintelligence investigation whereby Colonel Ngube of counterintelligence was appointed to investigate actually the seizure, unlawful seizure of my phone. That report never saw the light of day, because Moyana in Pit Out was then appointed by Cele in Masemola to do a counter investigation after they instructed Ngube to change the contents of the report, whereby she refused. She was removed from the investigation. Moyana in Pit Out was appointed by Masemola and Cele to do a counter investigation to identify the sources of my information. They tried to tarnish my image by implying that I was working with foreign intelligence. That was the report that Moyana gave back to the minister and to Masemola. They couldn't find any evidence. I implicated Moyana in the Bram Fischer heist. Remember, if people can remember that heist that was at the Bram Fischer Airport in Bloemfontein. He was implicated in appointing his girlfriend into crime intelligence and giving a car. She was arrested with a car in Pretoria because she was driving the car without authority. Moyana in Pit Out was also one of the people implicated in disclosures that I made regarding also his involvement in the corruption in crime intelligence. So these two are the henchmen of Cele and of Masemola to get to the whistleblowers, to get to the sources of information and to get rid of them. Masemola is well aware of what is happening here, because he was the one who gave the instructions together with the minister for this two to actually get to the sources of our information. They failed to do that.
Good. Well, I think you've made the case so well that let's hurry up to get this uploaded so that people can start circulating it. And just, Patricia, you've no idea how much it thrills me as a social worker of 40 years. I thought that we had left behind all this nefarious undertakings within security police and all the rest. I thought we were in a new South Africa. And it's been very disillusioning for the last 10, 15 years to see how things have got so bad. But I'm now seeing a rebirth, and I'm seeing that because we've now got a constitution and a Bill of Rights which protect us and our freedom of expression, I can now do what I'm doing now. It would be unthinkable under the apartheid era, even if we had the internet, for us to be able to having this sort of conversation. So does that give you a little bit of encouragement?
They give me much more encouragement. You know what, John? I was so disorientated after I got that message. But I received a message from the brother of Babita Koran, and he told me that we are standing behind you.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, I received it today. And you know what? I just got that strength again, and I told myself that Babita's death will not be in vain. Justice will be served. They will, if they get to me, it will be God's will. But for the time that I'm still able to speak out and to expose, I'm not committing crimes. I am absolutely not committing crimes. I will expose what is happening in the South African Police Service, crime intelligence, in the justice system. Can I say?
Wonderful. I mean, the point about God's will, my experience with 40 years is that when we pray, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, doesn't mean that we're going to escape trouble and difficulty. The point is that that there is a divine will that actually supersedes our own human mismanagement of things. There is that divine will, and I just say that because it's one very practical thing I can ask people to do, from whatever faith tradition you come from, is to just go to prayer about this. Because if I may say in closing, President Ramaphosa is about to give a State of the Nation address. I hope the irony doesn't escape him that Patricia's story is surely the most telling indicator of the state of the nation. But both the state that we are currently in and the state that we could well become if people like her were embraced and rather than oppressed. A state where justice and mercy embrace and where peace prevails.